welcome to this morning's premium video. If you're on YouTube, you're watching this a bit later. Tonight we have a Zoom, right? So if you're watching this right now in premium, remember 8 p.m. UK time. I'll let you work out for your own time zone. We will be live to unveil and show off our new social media platform. We're going a bit different. No longer Telegram will be the main aim. We'll be releasing our own little private platform for paid members on monthly contracts and, most importantly, for course delivery and support, which would be pretty awesome. So there you go, you know what to do. Anyways, we need to talk about what's in the title. India proposed yet another ban. Oh my god. I'm really bored of this now. This has to be nearly as, what's the word? It's very, very popular. And it is kind of on level par with the death of Bitcoin quotes. Every couple of months, this happens. It's getting on my nerves now. This is what kind of puts me off certain projects as well. I've obviously been very, very public with me stating that jurisdiction is a massive thing with coin research. And if you're in a country that doesn't like, cryptos, it sucks, right? But if you're an investor and you're investing in a company or a DAO or whatever that is settling or it's based in India, I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole because of stuff like this. This will rattle markets, it will rattle people, it scares people. And when people are like told and imposed a penalization of traders and miners that could result into fines, it could lead to imprisonment, it could lead to all kinds of horrible stuff. It's not really worth putting your money in. So you've got to be careful with stuff like that. It's concerning that in 2021, with how big and how deep we're going with the blockchain technology, that this is still happening. And I understand why. I understand fully why, because it's a threat to their global system. It's a threat to their financial monetary policy. It's a threat to their taxation of individuals within India for taxation. It sucks, right? We know that, but it's one of those things. And yeah, we've got to be very, very careful. But moving on, right? It's no coincidence that probably this news as well, as always, brings down markets, right? We've had a good weekend, one of the best weekends we've had in a long time. Yesterday was a bit iffy, but not away near as severe as normal. But the market is still, in my opinion, incredible. We're at $1.68 trillion. Tiny, considering that is an accumulation of 8,797 coins, right? One of those is called Bitcoin. You've probably heard of it. It's currently market value of 1 trillion. So when we talk about gold and we talk about silver, Google market cap, we're getting close. Well, obviously gold, not so much close, but you know what I mean. Next step is Google, then silver, then gold. It's getting there, and you should always be looking at that as a good value indicator. But dips are happening. Dips look good. Polkadot looks like a great dipping opportunity, in my opinion. Chainlink, I've always said this, it looks undervalued at the moment. It looks really undervalued, the BTC pair as well. There's other coins out there that are looking really quite good at a dipping point. Other coins as well that are kind of sliding all the way down the tree. The likes of Chili's, for example, has had a monumental rise over the last few weeks. Maybe ignore that one for now because it has had an amazing rise. But the likes of Tezos slipping down now. Obviously, do your research, understand why that's happening. But there's a lot of things on here that are looking relatively quite good versus what they were a few weeks ago. The likes of Graph as well, another good opportunity potentially there. Silica back down to 14, 15 cents now. So there's definitely opportunities in the market. So let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin essentially is looking, in my opinion, pretty healthy, pretty fine. It's just a natural correction. Bearish divergence obviously appeared on the 2-day chart. Look, 1-day chart, sorry. On the 2-day chart as well, it's even more obvious. So we've had this monster move, right, all the way up, right, ping, 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 right. A lot of these higher highs, but we've had a lot of these divergences kind of somewhat appearing, which is kind of important to look at. And obviously, when we talk about buying the dips and selling and stuff like that, we've got to be very, very careful as to why we do that and why we buy dips in bull markets, why we look at riding certain trends in certain interest points. You just got to be very, very careful, right? But the one thing that is always clear with Bitcoin is the structure is somewhat very clean at the moment. We're looking at this we've tapped this 382 on the nose, 54,670. It could be the local bottom at the minute, but again, it's only 10 o'clock UK time as I record this. America might wake up and ruin the party even more. We may go down to 50,000, which wouldn't be a bad thing. So I have put some little levels on here. I am going to move that one down a little bit into this point. The reason being, why not? Makes it a little bit more easier to look at and read. But when we're looking at overall structure, we've got structure just below here as well, just about 48,000. We've obviously got structure a lot lower. So for me, looking at certain things, you know, it's entirely up to you how you want to read this chart. But for me, there's certain stuff on here that looks absolutely fine and I wouldn't worry too much about it. So that's kind of what I'm going to go off at the minute. Nice, simple, nice and clean. On the weekly time frame, monster weekly candle. Engulfed everything else, obviously new high, but there's obviously a bearish divergence. We've got to correct at some point, guys. We've got to correct. Moving on to Ethereum again. We're in this demand zone. I'll go to the daily time frame so you can see it. So this one's kind of the interesting one. I've kind of been waiting to see what happens with this. This is kind of like a demand zone at the minute, but I also feel that it's going to go a lot lower. Obviously, this is like a demand zone for this level because it's quite a strong level. If I remove this and put it just a little bit lower there, you can kind of see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 little touches of this level. It's kind of a big point. But again, we just got to be making sure what kind of happens with that. Obviously, that is a monster. I don't know why I've made that so big. That's crazy. Why have I done that? Let's make it a bit smaller. There we go. So yeah, when we're looking at this, it looks very, very interesting to see where we are overall. I'll put this around here so we can kind of see it, allude to it. But what I want to do here, I want to kind of like make this look a bit better, a bit neater. So one thing we have got as well, we've got the 618. In my opinion, the 618 level is kind of important as well. We've had a few little taps in and around this region as well, as you can kind of allude to. We've had a few. And then below that, we've got an even bigger one at the 786, which could go as low as that, in and around it. So we've got all these we've got wick, body, wick, loads, right? All the way across in between. You don't have to marry up, as I mentioned, but that is kind of like an interesting area for me. It could be one very nice big cup and handle. This could be the pullback, and then it could go whoomph, bang. This could be the demand zone in and around this region when we start to highlight certain points. When we highlight points like this, we've got a load of wicks in and around this region. We may well get a demand bounce off this zone, and we may well get taken away from it very, very quickly. It depends on what Bitcoin does. So if Bitcoin bounces and the Ethereum side of it's looking pretty good, it may be all right. So that's what we've got overall in the daily time frame. Looking on the 3-day as well, it's kind of neat and tidy in and around where this level is. But again, always wait and see what happens. For me, the only way I'm going from is this point here to make it really simple so we can see certain levels. But if you wanted to go even lower, you can probably go all the way from like this level here, essentially, if you wanted to. You know, from here to all-time high, essentially, you could do, if you wanted to. Which will give, it does marry up very nicely to this dipping point at 382, which is also interesting where this level is, where this wick stopped, 1,637. It could be the bouncing point for a $3,000 Ethereum at some point in the future. Who knows? But we want to make sure we get things right first. Moving on to the other thing as well I want to talk about is obviously the demand zone at this level as well. Ethereum's looking pretty decent overall. In my opinion, it's looking all right. It's somewhat sluggish, but you know, this is a structure that's been here for a while now on my chart. So we're looking at this demand zone, boom, 618 levels, holding still. It is, in my opinion, a very, very solid area that could be accumulated very, very soon. Maybe a nice spillover from Bitcoin into Ethereum soon at some point. But there could be some big moves, as you can see here, up to 90% or up to 63% move there if this is going to be the next wave going up. If you add 89% on top of the current price of Ethereum, it's going to be quite a nice little hefty number, which is why I'm thinking maybe that $3,000 level could be of interest, so keep an eye on that. Moving on though, let's look at the Total 2 chart. Now the Total 2 chart is still doing okay. We're only down 4% today, but obviously Bitcoin's down 5%, Ethereum and USD is obviously down quite a bit, but money still seems to be flowing into the altcoins pretty aggressively, which is always important, but it's still looking absolutely fine. And again, looking at the dominance chart, found a top level here. This level has been kind of important on my chart for a while, so numerous taps, even though it is sentiment based and stuff like that. But if Ethereum goes up, if a few of the other undervalued coins do go up, this is going to shoot down. It's going to make it much more of an interest to people. Some coins are still doing all right overall. When we start looking at our little premium list that we've got, You know, some coins are actually doing, you know, okay. You know, it's just one of those things. Some of the BTC pairs, like Engine Coin, for example, VeChain, for example, is doing pretty all right. Graph, 4%. So there's some doing okay, right? Not all of them, we know, but the fundamentals are clear here. Money is flowing into the market still. Very, very simple. When we start talking about other things as well, one thing that we haven't had in a while is obviously some gap fills. There's obviously a gap down here which may never get filled, but ultimately I think there was a small gap formed last week, or some sort of little gap that was appearing in I think it was Ethereum or one of them, I can't remember. So that most likely has been filled essentially. So overall, there we go. Tonight, Zoom, see you on there, and yeah, show off the new platform.